5. The lines are locked. 4. Match day is near. 3. The picks are clear. 2. The picks are in. 1. Let the show begin. Game on. It's that time again. Game on. Kicks and picks is back again. Game on. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Game on. The guys are here and ready to go. Game on. Game on. Game on. Game on. The guys are here and ready to go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Kicks and Picks podcast. Special Thursday edition for you guys. Had to switch up the schedule this week. Nick and Scotty kicking it off. Coach Steve will be joining us in a moment. Scotty, it is officially our favorite time of the year, the time where we get to tell everybody all the teams that are going to dip in form because their best players are leaving for the African Cup of Nations, something that we factored in to our early season previews, but I know a lot of people seem to miss, and it's affecting the line. So we're going to get into it, but great to be back with you here. We got a crazy week in England, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it's arguably, man, I mean, speaking from a Liverpool fan's perspective, one of the more contested, I'd say, top 4 races we've had in a while.
Definitely.
You know, obviously you have kind of like some of the usual suspects in here, but you know, throwing in Sunderland and Crystal Palace as like legitimate threats, although we'll talk about Sunderland in a minute about their form. That makes things, you know, that much tighter. Then you have Aston Villa firmly cemented in a 3rd place role, competing more so for like, honestly, the top spot than they are for, you know, just a top 4 spot at this point. So lots of good teams, lots of healthy competition. I think, you know, these trickle down economics of English Premier League are starting to bear fruit with some of these mid-table clubs becoming legitimate threats for these top spots. So certainly excitement there. Just kind of goes to show if you got the right man, you're managing your club, and you get, you know, enough resources in, you can be a competitive spot in Europe right now. So fun times.
Definitely. It's been fun. I mean, you know me personally, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop for Arsenal, or the first shoe, I guess, because obviously they've been very good.
Yeah.
But I mean, shout out City and Villa, who both had really poor first months of the season. Villa obviously way worse. They're right in the thick of things. You know, Chelsea sneakily has a very good defense going right now.
Mhm.
Palace have kind of continued their form. They dipped a little bit, but they've continued the good form that they had last year.
Which I think is a huge surprise because they've lost a lot of pieces. You know, they managed to hold on to Mark Gahey, which is probably the best thing that they've done. It's really kind of thrown Liverpool season for a loop, you know, with the lack of depth at center back, especially with Leone going down. So, you know, Glasner kind of did right by him and to an extent his club. Seems like they're not going to get a fee for him now, but if he gets them into a top 5 spot because of that, it's certainly worth the losing out on the 50 million, you know, pound transfer fee.
Definitely, you make that up in one game. But no, I mean, listen, Chelsea in 4th place and Newcastle in 12th place. There's only a 6-point difference. So like, this is pretty much the stuff that dreams are made of. If you're a fan, if you're a bettor, there is opportunities every single game, week in and week out, and fortunately, we've been able to take advantage of it. I think you've been earlier on the curve than most. You were probably the first to jump on the Villa bandwagon when they started to heat up. That was great. And let's see what we can do with some of these other teams. But I do have one question before we get into the actual matchups, and that is, it's week 16. Who is going to win a game first, Wolves or Fiorentina? Because both of those teams are winless.
I would go Wolves. They may have a chance this week. We'll maybe talk about it in a minute. I just think, I don't know, man. My problem with Fiorentina is like, if they haven't won a game by now with like the teams that they've played, like they're just not going to. Like that's just like this is no longer like an aberration. This is just who they are. Wolves, look, I get it. It's a little bit of a different beast with them right now, but I think as we just talked about with the Premier League, like there's a lot of parity that's kind of coming through a little right now, and you know I could see them picking off a team that's sitting in like the bottom third of the table pretty easily, especially at home. And who knows, maybe they get a little upset this weekend. A little teaser.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, still a pretty tall task here. So that they need to jump 12 points to get out of that drop zone. It's gonna be a tough one for sure. But let's see. In any case, we'll get into that after the first matchup of the week, Saturday morning, 7:30. Newcastle at home hosting Chelsea, plus 180 on Newcastle. Chelsea favored plus 145. The draw is plus 260. And the goals in this one, pretty chalky, minus 145 at over 2.5. But just as a refresher, Chelsea in fourth on 28 points. Newcastle, as mentioned before, in 12th, they are on 22 points. So they can close that gap to 3. How are you feeling about Newcastle in this one at home? Because there's not much between them in terms of the odds. Chelsea actually, the line moved a little bit. I think Chelsea was plus 160 earlier in the day.
Yeah, I think Newcastle coming off a pretty tough loss, not bad loss necessarily, but they lost to their crosstown rival Sunderland for the first time in the Premier League, and I think coach said it was like 16 something years. So that hurts, right? There's going to be some hurt feelings there. There's going to be some desire to rebound quickly because it's never good when you're losing to your crosstown rival, especially when it's been decade plus since your last meetup. So I think they're going to be out for blood. I think having the home crowd there will be certainly a boost for them. Chelsea, what we talked about, really been performing well this season. Defense being as strong as it is a surprise to me. I think always kind of figured that they were going to create goals, but being this robust at the back, I didn't really expect. So certainly an interesting one here. My gut is telling me that this is probably one of those games where you're going to get a lot of goals. I think the over is 2.5 is minus 150. So Books seem to agree with that. So the question for me is, all right, if we're going to see 3-4 goals in this game, are Newcastle getting 2-3 goals against this Chelsea defense? I think Voltmata has been great for them.
Really good. Yep.
Filled in, a big gap with Isak, obviously, but they're getting contributions elsewhere. And that's really what it's going to come down to. Is there going to be somebody else that kind of steps up for them? Is it going to be a Bruno Guimaraes kind of set piece? Is it going to be Joe Ellington going on a run and Alanga or Anthony Gordon create something off the wings? So that's really where it comes down to for me. I think the home crowd here really helps. Do I think that they're going to get a win? I'm not so sure. So that's where I maybe err on like the draw no bet Newcastle plus 100. I think that's kind of what I'm thinking. It feels kind of like it's going to be a draw, but with the home crowd, if there's going to be a team that, gets the difference and gets a winning goal, I'll go with the home squad in Newcastle.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I think Newcastle far more unpredictable than Chelsea, but Chelsea has dropped stinkers when you didn't think they were going to. So slight edge to the home team. That team total, as you mentioned, is plus 125, so that's not bad. I really kind of like the draw on this one. Draw at plus 260. I don't hate it. I don't really think there's too much between these teams. Obviously I feel like it's a bigger game for Newcastle because they can close that gap a little bit, and you obviously have to take advantage of your home fixture. But are they that much better than Chelsea? No, I don't really know anything could realistically happen in this game. Like, I don't have a side one way or the other. I know you just threw Bob's comment up on the screen there. Chelsea playing a full squad for the first time in a few months, and Newcastle has some injuries to deal with. So what could go wrong for Chelsea? That's what we're going to find out 7:30 on Saturday morning.
Yeah, it honestly too, like, I love talking about like the narratives that come into games and what it means. This kind of feels like a make or break game for Newcastle, right? You just lost to your crosstown rival. You're sitting in 12th, albeit only 6 points back from fourth place.
I'm sorry, just to cut you off. I mean, we're not there yet in the season, but it turns into it's not about the points a team is ahead of you. It's like, hey, you have to jump 7 teams, right? Yeah. Like 7 teams are also trying to win games.
One of those teams is the team that you're playing, right? So getting a 3-point swing here at home is a huge opportunity. If you lose this game, you're going into a busy holiday fixture list that we know happens every year, where you're going to have 4 games in about 10 days. Not getting that momentum early can really hurt you. And if you come in, January 2nd and you're looking at now all of a sudden an 11, 12-point gap to fourth, that's tough. That's tough to overcome in the second half of the season. You've dug yourself a big hole. There's going to be teams that start to heat up in the second half that we always see. We always talk about, teams like Manchester City that seem to go on these never ending runs. Can Manchester United, who had a really, really slow start, pull off something similar? Can they go on a run? Can Crystal Palace keep this form going? Does Liverpool, who've been really bad for the first half of the season, just get back to being pretty good, right? And then that becomes a problem. So yeah, it's probably not like the make or break moment for them, but it really feels like there's a lot on the line for Newcastle, and especially being at home, I think they need this more than Chelsea do.
I tend to agree with you, and let's see what happens. But I think a Newcastle drawn about a Newcastle team total. I mean, I could see a 2-2 game in this as well, right? So let's see what happens. But that draw at plus 260, especially if that number improves, I'm gonna take a stab with it.
Yeah, agree.
So not originally planned, but we're going to jump to it because you made some comments. The next game up listed, Wolves at home to Brentford. Wolves are plus 275. Brentford is even money.
Yeah.
We mentioned having to take advantage of home fixtures. You know, Wolves would like to do that here. I'm just going to come out and say this. I think I'm looking at it, and I have the standings over on my screen over here, and it like I don't even believe what I'm looking at. I think that Brentford and Fulham have to be the two worst 6-win teams in like the history of ever. Like what 6 games did either of these two teams win? They're just so uninspiring. They don't do anything well. They don't defend well. Is this an opportunity for Wolves?
It certainly is. Brentford haven't looked great in recent weeks. I think they got 1 win in their last 5 games, and that was over Burnley, which again, it's a relegation type club, or it's not relegation, a newly promoted club. But Brentford was at home. I think they don't travel nearly as well as some of the other teams in the bottom half of the table. They're also not a team that's really going to be known to like play a low block and just eke out a point and try to hit you on a counter, right? They're going to try to be open, and I think that will leave them susceptible to Wolves, who can play in a pretty quick counter system. So if there's a game for Wolves to kind of win going into this busy period, like we just talked about with Newcastle, this is a good opportunity for them. I'm not a huge believer in Brentford. Obviously, losing Thomas Frank was some concerns, but they've kind of done a pretty good job in replacing him and replacing some of the players they've lost. But it really feels like it's one of those things where at any moment, the bottom could fall out on them. And yeah, we talked about AFCON. They're missing 2 big players. They're missing Frank Onyeka and Dango Otara. Otara was a really dynamic winger for them. Onyeka running the midfield. Those are 2 pretty significant losses. So I think
more than half of their offense is coming from one guy, right? With Thiago, who's been outstanding. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking what he's doing, but I mean, if you take away half of his contributions, they're probably in the drop zone or close to it, So how long can he keep that up really is a question for me. And Wolves have played kind of okay. I mean, like, I don't know that they score enough to get it done, but can they win on a double chance? Can they keep this a 1-1 game, a 1-0 game?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, double chance minus 135 doesn't strike a lot of confidence, but I think it speaks to the fact that they can get a result, right? If there was concerns that, Wolves have no shot in this, you're looking at something that's a little bit closer to even money. So I don't mind doing that. Maybe throwing that in as like a parlay. You can even go with the draw no bet. That's not too terrible at plus 160. So I think this is a good opportunity for Wolves. I'll put four fingers down, not quite putting all 5 fingers down on the table, saying that they're going to win this game.
All right, I like it. Let's see, because we need to have Scotty be right about them winning a game before Fiorentina.
Yeah.
So I'm down with it. A couple other games, obviously on Saturday, nothing that really jumps out at us until the late game, which is Liverpool traveling to Tottenham. Tottenham plus 240 on the money line. Pool is even money. The draw is plus 275. We've talked obviously a lot about Liverpool, which I'm going to let you get into. But my first question is, does this Tottenham team scare you? Like, I'll let you answer it before I'm sorry. I was going to give you my thoughts to try to lead you into. I don't want to do that. What's up, Coach?
Hey, what's going on?
I don't know that this Tottenham team specifically scares me. I think what scares me is that they're kind of like a wounded animal right now, right? They brought in Thomas Frank from Brentford, had high expectations for rebuilding and bouncing back. Hasn't quite gone the way that they had hoped. I think this is a team where at this point in the season, Frank maybe low-key kind of managing for his job. On the other hand, I don't know. It's hard for me to to know what to expect from the Spurs club. I don't think that they should be that much of a threat, but anything can happen when you're kind of backed into a corner, and it's kind of put up or shut up time for them. Similar to Newcastle, but I have higher hopes for Newcastle than this Spurs team for the rest of the season.
And it's totally one of those where, like, we talked about City and Villa, who really struggled at the beginning of the year. Like, it was the opposite for Spurs. Spurs were flying high. They looked great the first month of the year. And now they're terrible. What do they have? One win in the last 2 months?
They just got smoked by Forest, right? 3-0 on the road. Aside from some Champions League success, right? Like, I think that's the best thing they have going for them. They beat Copenhagen. They beat Slavia Praha.
Yeah, they have a pretty easy fixture list.
They put up 3 goals on PSG. Didn't win, but there's no shame going into Paris, putting up 3 goals and not coming out with 3 points. Aside from that, they got smoked against Arsenal. They got smoked again, like I said, against Forest. Drew Newcastle, lost to Fulham. They did beat this Brentford team that I think can get picked off by Wolves. It does not inspire a lot of confidence. You have to really go back to like end of October, early November for any real showing of competency from the Spurs side. But like I said, when you're backed into a corner like this and you got matches like Liverpool, then you have going to Selhurst Park, playing a Crystal Palace team, Brentford again, and then you got Sunderland on the backside of that. Not a lot of opportunities for points if you don't win your home games. And this is going to be one of the home games that they probably really need to get a result in.
Yeah, listen, I just trust them less than I trust Liverpool right now, which is like a crazy thing to say, right? But hey, we're talking about a Liverpool team that has points in 4 straight in the Premier League. So we're on the come up. And I think Salah being out is a benefit, right? Like you talked about it more than anybody. Half of it's been on the air, half of it's just been amongst us. But the team is just not flowing with the new signings. They're not able to impose style of play that they want with him on the pitch. They just haven't been all year. And, we're at the point where we need to just look back, and he's obviously always been a class player, but last year was generational. Like, that was, we never going to be sustainable to repeat that. And you can't force the game plan around him when you just spent 300 million on new signings. So this is, to me, a benefit that he's not going to be on the field.
Yeah, especially with the way the last 2 weeks have gone with everything off the field as well, right? Like, that's become a distraction. It's a lot of what Slot has had to answer for. And look, rightfully so. If you're not doing a good job managing the in-house, that's going to come out to bite you. With that said, Coach and I kind of discussed it last week. We've all known that Salah's agent has been a little bit of a weasel. It's always worked in Liverpool fans' favor because it's usually to get a contract extension, but this is the one time where it's now kind of working against the good of the club. And so having him out for good reason, in a different continent for the next 6 weeks probably is a good thing. It kind of lets the dust settle and, let some clarity on his future shine through. But what that does mean is what you're saying, can't build around him. They are building this attack around Isak, Ekitike, and Wirtz. For the better or for worse, you've committed the better part of 300 million pounds to these guys. I think Ekitike has
got to give it a go.
More than proven that he's right up for it. I think Wirtz is growing into his role week by week. Every week he's looking better and better. I think he's leads or is in second place in the league in chances created. So he's certainly doing his bit there. I think he's doing a better job of controlling the possession, helping out with defense a little bit. Isak hasn't really gotten off the ground yet, but we know his summer was basically non-existent. He was sitting in a pool waiting for his move to come through. So for him to really get going, I don't have a whole lot of hope. What that does mean, though, for the people on this podcast who might have interest in it, is that we might get a little bit more Chiesa. Salah was always kind of the guy blocking Chiesa's path to the team. Salah's going to be out for the next 6 weeks. I think Chiesa is going to be probably the first attacker off the bench when you need to replace either Ekitike or Isak in this modified 4-3-1-2 type setup that I think Liverpool are going to go with. So Chiesa, low-key, maybe outside of Ekitike, been Liverpool's best attackers this season, going to get more playing time.
Definitely. No. So I went a long way, and obviously I want the commentary because this is your squad, but I think Liverpool win this game. Quite honestly, I like their team total as my favorite bet, -125. I think they get 2 goals. I'm in full fade Tottenham mode until I see otherwise. So I think this is a get right spot. Pool's been on a good run of form. And more importantly, I want to see it because Pool being in the top 4 is better for the league.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're going to, this is going to be a Liverpool team that slowly builds into the season bit by bit. if they do have another, floor drops out from underneath them moment, it might signal a time for change for manager, which is going to be a problem. But at that point, it's like, hey, this is a lost season. Let's just see what we got and go from there.
Coach, welcome.
What's going on? So I was just counting the number of matches in their last bunch of Spurs. They've given up 2, and it's 6 of their last 8. The only 2 they didn't give up multiple goals were when they beat Brentford and when they beat Slavia Prague. So
Prague doesn't count.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Defense hasn't been good. Kind of turn of events for Scotty's boys from last year. First goal in 4 of the last 5. I remember last year, even when they were winning the title, they were often conceding first. So they get an early one here. I think that is a good look. Spurs doesn't instill much confidence right now. On the road is tough. Plus 105 sometimes to take that number, but Spurs I don't love. And I think maybe team total is probably even the better look at minus 125 because then you throw the result out the window if Spurs get a couple, because they are capable of getting a couple.
Definitely,
as we've seen in recent matches, even in the struggles. So I think team total is a good look there. And I mean, Chiesa might have saved Slot's job right when he had that goal line clearance a couple of weeks ago. So maybe he deserves a little more run here.
Yeah, I think he will. And you know what? Szoboszlai, I'm not unsure of where his injury lies right now. Like, I think he's probably going to miss this game just because, the dude has played 90 minutes every single game this season. Yeah. He needs a rest. If it's because he has a bad ankle, then so be it. But with him coming out, I think that's going to open the door a little bit for more of Curtis Jones getting forward. He's played really well with Wirtz. Yeah. We've seen that kind of combination working out pretty well. So I think that's another opportunity. I'm gonna pivot that as an opportunity and less of a negative, because I am concerned about it on the inside. I know that Szoboszlai has been the engine of this team, and like without him, they would probably be bottom half of the table right now. But we'll see if he gets minutes this game. I'm hoping he just gets a rest because Lord knows he needs it, and we have a busy slate coming up. So keep an eye on that. Actually, that's a good point. Let me see. What do we got? Curtis Jones shot on target.
I can find
plus 180. I don't mind that. The dude likes to shoot from deep. I don't think Szoboszlai, like I said, I don't think Szoboszlai is starting this. Even if he plays, he's got to come off the bench. Curtis Jones likes a deep shot. Plus 180. I'm going to make that my Hakan replacement shot on target play until they start adjusting that, because he's similar in nature.
Plus 110. Just throwing it out there
for you. He's not plus 110 for me. Oh. He is minus 140 for me.
Well,
so
there you have it.
Shout out Hard Rock.
Lately I've been getting decent.
The one market Nick gets good numbers.
Yeah, honestly. So hey, but team total's my play. I think Poole will get to in this one.
Yeah,
for sure. And then the last one I want to touch on, I'm sorry, unless you guys got anything else for this game.
Nope, not on that one.
We have to talk about it. It's the Sunday game, late game. Aston Villa at home to Man United. Villa winners of 9 straight. Villa up to 3rd place. Villa, the provers wrong of Nick, are plus 110 on the money line against Manchester United.
Is there a better bet this weekend in the Premier League? Is there a better bet?
I
mean,
Villa team total maybe.
Yeah.
Well, let's before. Okay, let's see if we can trick Coach here, Nick.
Okay.
Hey, Coach, you're asking if there's a better bet this weekend. I got Sunderland at Brighton plus half a goal. Sunderland plus half a goal is plus 120.
I still like Villa better at home though.
Oh, can't trick Coach. So AFCON is taking about 7 of Sunderland's players. That's why the line is so favorable.
See, I went in that blind, and I still, even if they had those 7 players, I still like the idea of Villa at home against this United side.
Until they lose, you got to ride them, and we're getting playable numbers week in and week out.
And you're talking about a United side that just gave up how many to
4 goals to Bournemouth.
4 goals, Bournemouth. Yeah, I had to squeak that one out.
It's at some point, Amorim, there has to be a decision with him either way. I feel like he's been sitting in the pseudo hot seat all season long. He's had good spells, then bad spells. And, there's been some rumor mongering of Glasner leaving and wanting to go to United from Crystal Palace, especially if Palace end up selling some players in January as well. Something to keep an eye on. I mean, if this result doesn't go his way, let me take a look at what United has coming up. But you got to feel like, if he doesn't have a strong showing through the end of this year, with January coming up, is it the right time to make a new manager move, given the fact that you can bring in some more players if you've got the funds for it? You can put in a little bit new of a play style.
Tough for me to say. I mean, so on one hand, I'm looking at a team that has
they have about as easy of a schedule after this. They're home to Newcastle, which remains to be seen, but then they have Wolves, Leeds, and Burnley 3 next games. So it's time to rack up points if you're a Morum.
No, for sure. And listen, this is a team that has not won 9 out of the 16 games that they've played. It's a team that gives up almost 2 goals a game. They're not very good, right? But at the same time, they're in 6th place.
I was just going to say, they're sitting. I scrolled too far for a second. I had to go back up. They're 6th in the table. It's not that bad. Yeah,
they haven't been in 6th place in what, 6 years, 7 years. That's the only thing I could say. I'm not saying
they had a good run though. That's kind of what I'm saying. It's like they're not consistent. They have this period of time where like they'll run off. Let's see how many games we had here that wins. They beat Brighton, they beat Liverpool, they beat Sunderland, they lost to Brentford, they beat Chelsea. So that run there was 12 points out of their 26. So they basically got half of their points in 4 games in a 4-week period.
Fair.
That's that's kind of the issue.
Hey, I'm with you. I am all for chaos over there.
And they might be primed to do that again, like I just said, with the schedule coming up. Don't know that they'll get a result here, but when you're at home to Newcastle with a team that's kind of struggling, similar to United, maybe worse than United, and you got 3 of the worst teams in the Premier League after that, no reason why you can't come out of that with 10 points.
I'd love to see Villa beat them. That's all I'm saying.
I expect it. I would say Villa will. I don't mind them on the money line at home.
No,
I don't.
Yeah, and team total, you mentioned, Nick, -125, also a solid number for a team that just gave up 4.
-120 over here. I'm going to go out and say that Hard Rock has better numbers for soccer than you guys get in New York and Connecticut.
Yeah. I mean, at least in some of those player props. Yeah. Aston Villa to score first goal is -150. I think that's all you need to know. If Aston Villa score first here, how are they dropping points?
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah, we had them last week, and they made us sweat it out, but they ended up coming through in the end.
Never, ever in doubt. Yeah. Coach, so you guys got anything else in England?
No, I kind of was going to try to trick Coach with the Brighton Sunderland line. So that's my that's the warning. We're not betting this game because Sunderland has lost too many of their players for AFCON. So we kind of need to see what happens here. I do have to say, Nick and I were talking about it on air, or before we came on air, kind of too bad for Sunderland. I mean, you're coming into it that AFCON is going to happen. I don't think that you're expecting that you're going to be like legitimately in European competition spot battle. And yeah, if you don't, bear this, which is kind of a lot to ask for a team that was just newly promoted, you probably fall back into the mid-table and that's that. Now, staying up is not anything to be sad about, but it would have been a great story getting back into even if Conference League, right? Getting some sort of European competition in the Stadium of Light after your first season would have been huge. Not impossible now, but just certainly an uphill battle with what they're going to have to deal with the next 5 weeks.
I mean, if they finish the AFCON tournament and are still in the top half of the table, I will be thoroughly impressed.
Yeah. Especially considering, like you said, Newcastle is sitting there in 12th and they are 4 points behind Sunderland after losing.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the key. That there's not a lot of distance between those places. So 8th can turn to 12th real quick.
Yeah. So let's just going to take a quick peek at Sunderland's schedule. So after this, they have Leeds, but then it's City, Tottenham, Brentford, Crystal Palace. And that kind of wraps up the AFCON period.
I mean, if you could get, I think 7 points, like that would be massive.
Yeah, there's no way. I think you gotta get maybe a point minimum here. Gotta beat Leeds. Then your next best bet is winning at Brentford. I think that's maybe a tough one. We'll see.
Gotta get 5 or 6. Have to.
Yeah.
All right, Coach, before we go to Italy, I posed the question to Scotty. I'm going to pose it to you. Who gets a win first, Wolves or Fiorentina?
I mean, logic would say Fiorentina based on roster quality, but they've defied logic for 14 weeks now or whatever it is, 15 weeks. So I don't know. I mean, they
just lost to a team from
where's that team even from? I don't even know.
Like the 18th place team in Switzerland or something.
Yeah. So they certainly aren't instilling much confidence in that. You never know. Maybe Wolves get a fluky one first. Who's Wolves have this weekend? Home for Brentford. I mean, unlikely, but is Fiorentina beating Lazio? I don't know.
No, they play Udinese.
Nick, I have one more bet in England.
Oh, go.
Everton are hosting Arsenal.
Yeah.
Under 2.5 is -130.
Oh, surprisingly playable.
Super playable for an Everton home game against an Arsenal team that's probably not going to concede. I think if you think Arsenal conceding, I think you can get Everton to score what's that team prop? Everton to score, that's minus 140.
Both teams to score is even money.
What is? Both teams?
Both teams to score, yeah, even money.
Yeah. I don't think I think this is gonna be like a 1-0 game for Arsenal. That would be my guess. Yeah. Maybe a 2-0, but I like the under 2.5 either way.
I dig it.
All right, we can move on now.
All right, let me pull up some fixtures here for Serie A because we have.
There's not many because 4 of them are canceled for the Supercopa. So
correct.
Yeah, there's only 6 matches.
I mean, fuck it. I'm not going to sit here. I mean, there's some playable. Well, we can get into them, but let's talk about your squad, Coach. They are traveling to Juve, and they're ahead of Juve by 4 points. Roma is in 4th place still.
They will finish this match week no matter what in the top 4.
Roma is going to do something that I don't think anybody thought was possible, and that is have Nick root for them 2 weeks in a row because they played Como last week and they're playing Juve this week, and I cannot stand to see either of those two teams win. Coach, plus 300, Juve's even money. What do you make of those odds? Do you think they're correct? Roma obviously came off those back-to-back losses. They bounced back last week, which, I predicted. You guys predicted. Juve still really haven't figured it out under Spalletti, I don't think. I mean, I think they look better, which is not saying a whole lot, but I don't know. It's kind of a boring team. What do you make of this?
So you talk about AFCON with Salah missing time. The big loss here for Roma is Evan Ndika. Roma's been the number 1 defense in the league all year. Now only 8 conceded in 15. Impressive, very impressive. In part to the Gasperini system, but also in part because players like Ndika have been outstanding. He's been outstanding really since they got him 2.5 years ago. So I'm curious to see how they are able to cope with his loss, not just in this match, but until he comes back from Ivory Coast duty. Because he's just an outstanding defender. I think they'll cover that with Salik is going to slide back into more of a center back 3 role with Mancini and Hermoso. So there's still plenty of experience against a Juve attack that doesn't, score a ton. I'm not going to try to jinx anything here, but they up 19 and 15. So it's not like they score a lot. Not that Roma scores a lot. They've only scored 16 and 15. But yeah, I mean, the lines are pretty heavily favoring Juve. I know Juve is just about even money, which is still, not like they're like, going to run away with this, but to be Roma to be plus 300 is a little surprising based on table position and such.
Yep.
But what it comes down to with Roma, and I've probably said this a couple of times already this season when they've played bigger sides, they have to prove that they can beat a bigger side, right? Roma's got 5 losses. 3 of those are against the top 3 in the league. And in each of those 3, they were shut out. They were also shut out in their loss to Torino. So the goal scoring when they don't score, which, I mean, is obvious, but when you don't score, you don't win. And in the matches they haven't won, they haven't scored. It's not even like they're losing like 3-2s or anything like that is what I'm getting at. Yeah. So they have to prove that they can actually all 5 of their league losses, I think, are 1-0s because the Cagliari one was that red card that they gave the goal pretty late a couple weeks ago. So yeah, all 5 of their losses are 1-0 losses, which is why their goal differential for a team that has 5 losses is still pretty solid for a team that doesn't score a lot because they don't concede. Right. Are they going to clean sheet Juve? I don't know. They might have to get the win.
So what is stopping me from taking under 1.5 at plus 195?
I mean, it's not honestly based on the way Roma has played this year. It's not the worst bet in the world.
Based on the way
I wouldn't want to. Yeah, I wouldn't want to sweat it out. But it's interestingly head to head. I'm looking here. Juve's no losses in their last 4, but Roma's no losses in their last 3. So they've drawn the last 3 matches, basically.
Okay.
Roma hasn't drawn a match all season. But yeah, you talk about under 1.5. So I don't know if I go under 1.5, but under 2.5 has hit in 1, 2,
it's minus 165.
6. Yeah, that's why 6 straight head to head it's hit.
Sure it has.
We had a lot of Mourinho, Allegri matches in the mix there. Actually, we got that 4-3 when those 2 were in charge, which was like crazy, like 4 years ago. But I mean, Roma's got to prove it. They got to prove that they can beat a top big, side in terms of name and, competing for a European spot with that side. I tend to be the optimist. I still feel pretty good about their chances, but they do have to. I think that the key for them and obviously they've lost all 5 of their matches. They've lost 1-0. They have to score first, I think. I think that's what it comes down to, because like I think back to the Milan match, they had Milan kind of on the ropes a little bit early in the match and couldn't put one in, and then it's turned on them, So they can't do that again here, where they're like, get the early pressure, don't score, and then 30th minute or so Juve scores, and then they can't find a way to tie it.
So Roma double chance is -130. And I only bring that up because, I mean, obviously, if you think Roma is going to win, great. But the draw is +220. That's not overly compelling. So
disagree.
Buy yourself another result if Roma do get that first draw of the year, or if Roma do get over the hump and are able to beat a top side. You bought yourself 2 options there at -130.
Yeah, I don't hate it at -130. It's a pretty solid number. Even if I go with Roma to win, I'm going to probably go draw no bet here, because you're going to get a decent number. You're probably going to get a +175 or so.
Even if or when you?
Probably win, but
okay. So let's run through all the players that are also going to be missing for AFCON and other things. Your boy El Anouilh is going to be out. I don't know how much. I feel like I've seen his name once or twice, but he doesn't feature.
Yeah, I mean he's one of their top 3 midfielders. As he start this match, probably not. It's probably Cristante Kone regardless. That tends to be the pairing. It does open up more opportunity, hopefully, for Pisili as like the third option off the bench in the midfield. Just because I want to see him play more. But
Dovbyk, doubtful with a hip injury.
Yeah, I don't think he plays. He's training separately still. So
okay. But then we look to the Juve side, and obviously there's Vlahovic, who's now, I think, not slated to come back until like February or March, right? I think the injury was a little more serious than they thought. And then you got Koopmeiners, who is suspended for this one. So that's almost an advantage for another advantage for Roma, that Juve's 2 most ass players will not be able to feature.
Yeah, Vlahovic now says the 26th match day. So yeah, it's quite a ways off.
Yeah, so I mean, basically put 17 guys on Yildiz, and you guys got it. What else? What do you have to worry about?
I mean, I think that's the key, right? Is if you take Yildiz out of this match, you have a pretty good chance. Is
Jonathan David going to score on you?
He's not even projected to score on you. Yeah, they don't even have projected to start here on Gazzetta. It's a 60-40 for Openda is what they're favoring. So
I asked Scott this question when his team was playing. I'm going to ask you: does Juventus scare you?
Not like they have in the past.
I mean, listen, going away to Juve is tough. I'm not going to discount that. They do not lose a lot of home games, but I don't know. What about this team? What about the timing of this game? Like, I think it's a perfect spot for Roma, quite honestly.
Yeah, no, I think it is a good spot for them. I just, if this was their first match against a big side, I'd be more confident than if it was their 4th one against a quote unquote big side where they've lost the first 3 1-0. And the attack doesn't inspire much when you have 16 scored in 15 matches as a team that's trying to compete for top 4 or maybe more. Like, they were joined top of the table just a couple weeks ago.
Only has 19 scored.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not saying Juve is going to score more. I'm just saying, like, I wonder where Roma gets the goals from. Ferguson finally kind of got off the schneid recently. He got that brace against Celtic, which hopefully helps his confidence. But somebody's gonna have to step up and score, and they're gonna have to do it against a quote unquote big side.
Scott, over under 1.5 units that we talked Coach into betting on Roma for this game.
Over.
Doesn't take much to talk over when they get a good number.
But Coach still wins because I didn't talk him into betting on Sunderland, so I'll still give him that.
Hold on, let's take a look here. Man, a Roma team total is +260. Have they scored twice in the game this year?
No, I don't know that I like that.
Yeah, I mean they've scored twice in matches this year.
They have? Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. Not many, but
yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, in terms of the way Roma's played under Gasperini, their high press is good. So I think they do give Juve trouble in terms of Juve getting forward. I think it really just comes down to, can Roma get a goal, especially maybe like in the first 60 minutes if they're able to keep Juve off the score sheet.
Ferguson +350, dude.
Big number.
That's a fat number. What's him to get a shot on target?
Now we're getting 2.5 units of Coach betting money.
Yeah, hold on. Well, he only has to put it like
a half unit. You know what the problem with Ferguson? He gets the quick hook.
The problem?
The problem.
A problem.
Singular problem, Nick. There's only one.
Well, I'm saying from a betting standpoint, like if you're gonna put something on
He
a
only
strike, you want
plays
that
45 minutes.
Yeah, you want that guy to play at least 75, 80 minutes, right?
Yeah.
On the regular.
But now they have nobody to come in off the bench, so like he might have to play the whole game.
Well, then they go and the thing you have to watch too with them, like he's gone false nine look Gasperini this year other times, so he doesn't necessarily have to start.
Is Dybala still on the
Ferguson.
team?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Contract's up at the end of the year. We'll see if he's still there, but he's there now.
Do you think he can come to Inter Miami?
I mean, everything's possible with the Argentines and Inter Miami.
All right. I'd like to see it. Scotty, give us your thoughts because we've been badgering Coach Steve here for the better part of 10 minutes.
No, I mean you kind of said that you don't think the draw line is tempting here. I disagree. I get your point on the number is not juicy, but like this game is 100% out of like 9 times out of 10 this game is a draw. And
you're kind of right.
It's a 0-0 or 1-1. Pick your poison.
Yeah, let's get a little correct score action here. 0-0 is plus 700, 1-1 is plus 450.
Yeah, 0-0 is kind of where I lean, but I won't fault you for taking both.
No. Yeah.
Do we have a hold on? I want to just pull up their history of these matches, see how often, because I feel like again, not looking it up. 1, 2,
I'd have to
3
guess
of their
3% draw.
Three straight draws for their last 6, and the ones that they were not draws were 1-0 games. You got to take a draw.
Yeah,
it's the only play.
I agree. Just know that I'm going to wake up. I don't know. It's a Saturday game. I'm sorry.
No, it's Saturday afternoon game.
Late Saturday afternoon. I'm going to be shooting a text right through to the group chat saying, "Yeah, I think it's Roma double chance for me." We're going to get Coach Steve to rebet it.
Yep.
Let's see. No, but jokes aside, I think this is a really good spot for them.
I need a new play here.
Go.
Both teams under 1.5 goal team total is minus 130. It hasn't happened in 6 games, probably more. If my table can go deeper, I would guess it's probably more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good spot for Roma. Like you said, I think it's a big spot for Roma with all 3 teams ahead of them not playing this week. You can technically go joint top of the table, right? With everybody else having a match in hand, but you got to win the matches you play, and then if those teams puts a little pressure on them, but yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping they just can get it clicking offensively. But yeah, I mean, again, going into the season, if you told me they had 10 wins through 15 matches, top 4, guaranteed top 4 after 16 matches, I take it. So
sure would.
But yes, beating Juventus would be nice. Put some distance there too. Then you're talking 7-point gap with them. So
hey, I mean, it's not the order that I predicted them in. I mean, we won't know that. Well, the games are canceled for Super Cup. You said it, but the 4 top teams that I said would be 1, 2, 3, 4 are all in top 4. So I feel all right about halfway through the year. All right, a couple other good, like decent, I think, spots here. How do you guys feel about Cagliari at home plus 120 against Pisa? Pisa stinks. They have 1 win. I think their only win was against Atalanta.
Tough place to go play at Roma.
Right. And Cagliari's like kind of been okay. Like they have as many goals scored as Roma.
Pisa just stinks. I think is what it comes down
Pisa
to.
stinks.
Right?
I mean, Pisa borderline are banned from me betting on them after they let me down on Feast of the Immaculate Conception.
That's facts. So. That's super facts. No, I think I don't mind Cagliari in that spot. I don't. We got to talk about it. Fiorentina, big favorite at home to Udinese, plus 110. Udinese are plus 260.
Yeah,
Udinese have been good.
Big favorite is crazy.
I will also be taking the draw in this game.
Okay. I kind of like double chance. Udinese, it's chalky. It's minus 145 right now. But if that comes down a little bit, I will be taking the double chance.
Yeah, and I don't see why you wouldn't, because like you said, Udinese's been tough. They're top 10, right? Yeah. Playing against a team that just can't seem to find a win outside their couple they have in the Conference League.
Coach, your boy Zaniolo is plus 300. That dude's been on a fucking tear.
I was going to say, I know his goal last week didn't count. He got called back for VAR, but he's been playing well. I mean, he's definitely got to be giving Gattuso some food for thought for March if he keeps it up. Fiorentina hasn't kept a clean sheet in 12 matches.
Yeah.
12
So
matches.
bad.
I mean, it's kind of unfathomable how bad they've been. Like, if you told me before the season started that any of those quote unquote seven sisters plus Atalanta, as they're historically called, would be winless, I'd be like, you're nuts. And if you ask me which of them would be the worst of the 8, you'd probably would have gone
Lazio?
Atalanta or Lazio, not
Lazio.
Fiorentina, right?
Easy Lazio, yeah.
So the fact that they are in a relegation fight, because now at this point, when you're 15 matches in and you're still winless, you're in a relegation fight. There's no way around it. I mean, they're 8 off of Parma in 17th place.
The shit is though, is you're a head-to-head win over Pisa away from not being in the relegation zone, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, they're.
Yeah, but even if you beat Parma head-to-head or Genoa head-to-head or Cagliari, who are all on 14 and you're on 6, like you still got 5 points to make up with those teams. So they've got to start. I guess my point is they've got to start stringing together some wins. And when they've been as bad as they've been, I don't know if this is the place. Like, they have the worst goal differential in the league.
Yeah.
-14.
Yeah.
That's the worst in the league. Like, they've conceded 26 times. Joint worst with Torino. Torino too, who used to be known for being like tough defensively but can't score for shit. Like, they've conceded 26 times, but because they've scored 15, they're in 13th in the table, right? Like this team, I don't know. I don't know. Like,
it sounds like Wolves beat them.
Good.
Wolves beat them in a head-to-head.
Like, if you told me before the season that they would have, obviously not everybody's a name brand player on this starting 11, but De Gea in goal, Kane and Gunmunson in the attack, who, you know, is a familiar name to Serie A fans.
Bro scored 25 goals last year. Like, you would think, he could do a little something.
Yeah. Mandragora, experienced player, decent midfielder, like Fagioli. Like, these guys are like not bad players. I don't know what's going on. And then they spent all that money on Piccoli before the season started, which I thought was crazy when they spent it. And now, like, you're looking at potential relegate. Like,
how good does Palladino look?
He looks really good right now, especially because he's gotten 2 wins in the Champions League with Atalanta since he took over for Jurgen. So, but I think Zaniolo at +300 might be worth a crack here against a team that's conceded 26 times.
Definitely.
I think at that number, even if he doesn't score, you tip your cap and move on. Like, that's just a big number for him with the way he's playing.
I would take one of the 3 of us at +300 against Fiorentina right now. That's the moral of this story. So yes.
Yeah, it just kind of defies logic how bad they've been. They've been locked away in a retreat all week. I don't know if that's good or bad. I know that's like the classic Italian way of dealing with these issues. Yeah. I don't think it actually helps teams most of the time, but we'll see.
Yeah. I'm just excited to see where this and the Wolves train stop. I mean, I'm invested in which team is going to win first at this point in the year.
Yeah, you know, like, these are professionals. Like, sooner or later, you're going to win, right? Like, I mean, even for Wolves, who is obviously less talented than most of their Premier League opposition. Like,
Wolves have 2 points. I mean,
Fiorentina is not that much less talented than they're less talented than very few teams in this league, I would say, probably in head-to-head.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely agree. All right. Last game up is the Sunday afternoon game. Your boys, Genoa, +300 at home to Atalanta. Genoa's been really good since they appointed De Rossi. They're 4 points in 4 out of 6. They're out of the relegation zone, which they were in, I believe, or at least they were. I think they were behind Hellas.
Yeah, I think so.
When he got in, and Atalanta, they haven't been great in the league, but they've been much better since Palladino took over. The crazy shit here, I got to give credit to our boy Andrew, who shouted this out. I think it head-to-head, like 6 straight have gone over 2.5 goals. It's +105 for an over. And like,
that's not
Atalanta
bad.
used to be the over team. Now, Scotty will point out that Lookman is gone. So I don't know if Atalanta keep that up, but Genoa has been, their games have goals in them.
Recent form to just back that up. Genoa 7 out of 7 over 2.5. Atalanta now 7 out of 8 in all comps.
So how do we just not make Atalanta the easy over game of the week?
I might just do Atalanta team total over 1.5 because they've scored 3 or more goals against Genoa in their last 4 meetups.
What's their number at +1 over 1.5?
It's +105.
I mean, that might even be a better bet in case they keep Genoa off the score sheet. Yeah,
I dig it.
I can see him getting 2 here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't have too much to add.
Sounds like that's the play.
That's
Yeah.
not a lot to. We are giving you a chance. It is the end of 2025. You can be the easy overs bet of Kicks and Picks pod again if you want it bad enough.
Clean sheet. Not like a clean sheet and no goals, but just wipe the slate clean. That's all I'll say. Blank
Nick,
slate.
what do you think of because we did skip Sassuolo Torino. Sassuolo +130 at home. How do you feel about them at home?
I mean, you just
side.
told me that Torino give up the most goals in the league. Like, what's the over in this game?
The over, let's see. I didn't open the whole match sheet.
I did see it, but do you trust Sassuolo?
The over is +120. The Sassuolo team total might be
+140.
the one to look at. +135, +140. Yeah. I mean, they scored 21, conceded 19. I mean, that might be the angle at home. They're over 2.5 and 6 out of 7. Sassuolo.
Man, Inter really is the only team that scores in this league, huh?
This year, it's kind of like regressed because remember, for a couple of years, like Serie A had the reputation of being the unders league, but we were getting a lot of overs. Like it's regressed to the like historical mean. Like
rough,
yeah,
fucking
like
rough.
when you're seeing overs at +120, +130, like yeah, that says something about what's going on in the league. It has certainly kind of reverse course. And guys, we get the we were just talking about if Fiorentina loses, we get the Fiorentina Parma head-to-head next Saturday.
Oh, no shit. Oh, that's must-see TV.
Must watch.
6:30 a.m. on a Saturday. So if we're going to play a 6:30 game on Saturday.
I'm doing it. Don't care.
Luke will have me up anyway, but
I will be there. We can't wait for that. Now I need Fiorentina to lose this week. Like, we need Udinese to show up in the worst way.
And Parma, does Parma play or they're one of the canceled matches there? They are not playing this weekend. So, yeah, they're one of the canceled matches.
Give
so
them
they
all
will,
that rest.
So they will be at least 5, possibly 8 ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. All right, Coach, I got a special for you here. Bundesliga, Leipzig at home to Leverkusen.
It's a big match.
So Leipzig in second place on 29 points. Leverkusen 3 behind them on 26. 9 wins and 8 wins respectively. They're playing for second place right now, right? Bayern's league. So man, Leipzig at home +110, Leverkusen +220. I just blindly, with not much handicapping, like over 3.5 at +125. I just think there's goals. But what do you think? You giving Leipzig a big edge in this one?
I mean, they're the home side, so I do give them an edge there. Looking at recent form, okay, the last 4 head-to-heads: 2-2, 3-2 Leipzig, 3-2 Leverkusen, 3-2 Leverkusen. So you do get goals the last 2 seasons, and Leipzig has been getting overs for the most part. I mean,
both teams are averaging more than 2 goals a game. So
yeah. I think the over might be the play. And you said it's plus what?
+125 over 3.5.
So if you're someone with like an over 3 market, it might even be playable.
Definitely. I don't have that for this one, but if you have an Asian line, absolutely.
Yeah, that might be the play. I think if you can get an over 3, I think that's the smart play here because I think you're getting at least 3 goals, most likely. There's a couple other interesting ones. I saw Stuttgart's even money hosting Hoffenheim. Oh, Hoffenheim's actually in 5th place. Okay, so maybe not. They're a little bit better than I thought. I didn't realize they were that high on the table. But yeah, that should be an interesting match, that Leipzig-Leverkusen one. I think that is a good match. And you're right. They're probably playing for second because who's going to catch Bayern? But
no one. Hate to say it, Scotty, but their lead is just way too big.
Yeah.
And someone that has them in their 5 league future parlay, I'm not that upset about it.
I think the one you got to worry about is Real Madrid, Scott. I think that's the one that's gonna get you.
I don't have Real Madrid in mine. I have Atletico top 4.
Is that Atletico top 4? It was the screenshot saw Madrid, so I assumed okay. So now you might be okay then.
Yeah, I need Napoli to come down and get their shit together, and I need Arsenal to do their usual March, April swoon. and let City kind of pass them. And then
Atleti are looking okay. Here's my question for you guys: Are Villarreal for real? Because they've been on a fucking tear. They're like on Aston Villa levels of tear.
They just lost in the cup, right, in the midweek, and they were favored. I mean,
Did
they probably rotated, but
dude, they're 11-2-2.
Oh wow!
And they're on 35 points, which is 4 behind Madrid, but they have 2 games in hand.
Didn't realize they were playing that well.
Crushing.
Guess I should look at Spain a little more often.
Yeah, no, I mean they're doing it like on both ends too. They're scoring goals and they haven't given up any. Now I'm going to say that, and let's see, like they're going to have such playable odds this weekend, and I'm like, oh, well, I don't know anything about them, but let's take them, and they're going to lose. So let's see. Let's see, boys, where are you at? Villarreal. Oh, they're playing Barca. Never mind.
They're playing Barca. Yeah.
Well, then let's see how for real they really are.
Yeah. This is your litmus test, I guess.
Will Barcelona get a red card somehow, some way?
No.
Doubtful.
Looking at this game, though, historically, this is an overs game. 2-3, 1-5, 3-5, 3-4.
Over 3.5 is minus 145.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Well, fuck me then, right?
Jeez.
Just to think, thought I had something.
Yeah.
We got? All right, Yamal assist, 1 is plus 225, sure. What do we got for goal scorers? Who else do we like?
Wow.
Oof. Not a lot of numbers that I like. Tough.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, I have watched probably 0 of their games, watched a little bit of Barca, but I am very interested to come back after this week to see what happened in this one. I would love to see them win and stick in the title race for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, Spain gets interesting if they lose, right?
Definitely.
Need somebody to put some pressure. Real Madrid doesn't seem to be the team doing it right now. So
yeah. And also, I'm sorry, just looking at the standings, if anybody ever just wants free money, just take Anthony for Real Betis to score in the Conference League or Europa League or whatever league they fucking play in. That dude scores literally every single week.
We were doing well with him last year. Then it took a while to get his contract negotiated this year, right? From United, to move, and then forgot all about him. And now he
started the year slow.
Yeah,
but that dude is absolutely fucking thriving, especially in the I don't know what they're in, Conference League or Europa or whatever.
If it was Conference League.
Yeah. They played in the Copa del Rey today. Let's see. Did he score? I'll be even smarter. No.
Oh, so they're Europa then. Yeah.
Man, I think we did all right.
I'd say so.
Got some good looks. Guys, appreciate everybody joining. Follow along on YouTube, on obviously Twitter. Kick is the thing. TikTok, shorts. Definitely look at the shorts. If you can't make the full episode, but subscribe, share really goes a long way. Appreciate everybody's support. Appreciate you guys in the chat week in and week out. Wishing everybody a very Merry Christmas. Happy holiday season. If we don't see you before then, good luck.